The year is 2347. Earth's resources are dwindling, and humanity's future seems bleak. But hope arrives in the form of a cryptic message intercepted from deep space. It speaks of a forgotten star system, a place where ancient civilizations once thrived. A coalition of nations unites under the banner of Project Nova, a mission to explore this enigmatic region. Captain Elena Voss stands on the deck of the Starship Odyssey, gazing out at the vast expanse of space. Her crew, a diverse group of scientists, engineers, and soldiers, share her excitement and trepidation. As they approach the system, the stars blur into a dazzling display of light, each one a potential beacon of discovery or danger. The Odyssey enters a region of space unlike any they've seen before. Nebulae swirl around them, casting an ethereal glow over the ship. They detect a faint signal, a series of pulses that seem to guide them toward a distant planet. As they draw closer, the signal intensifies, and the crew begins to feel a strange pull, as if the very fabric of space is trying to lead them somewhere. Elena orders the ship to slow down and prepare for landing. The planet below is shrouded in mist, its surface hidden beneath a thick layer of clouds. The atmosphere crackles with energy, and the crew can sense something ancient and powerful watching them from the shadows. As the Odyssey descends through the clouds, the landscape below reveals itself in breathtaking detail. Towering structures rise from the ground, their surfaces etched with intricate patterns that seem to shift and change with the light. Strange plants grow in clusters, their leaves shimmering with a metallic sheen. The air smells of ozone and something else, something indescribable. The landing party, led by Captain Voss, steps onto the planet's surface. The ground beneath their feet feels solid yet alien, as if it's alive in some way. They move cautiously, their equipment scanning the environment for signs of life or danger. The structures loom overhead, their size and complexity defying explanation. Dr. Sarah Chun, the ship's chief scientist, takes samples of the soil and plants, marveling at the advanced biology. She hypothesizes that these organisms have adapted to survive in conditions far harsher than those on Earth. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Jameson, the ship's security officer, keeps a close eye on their surroundings, his senses heightened by the strange energy in the air. Suddenly, the ground trembles slightly, and the crew hears a low hum that seems to come from all directions. They freeze, unsure of what to do next. Then, from the shadows, a figure emerges. A tall, slender being with skin that glows faintly in the dim light. Its eyes lock onto the crew, and for a moment, time seems to stand still. The being approaches slowly, its movements fluid and graceful. It gestures toward the crew, and despite the language barrier, they feel an overwhelming sense of understanding. The creature speaks in a voice that resonates within their minds, not just their ears. It introduces itself as Kale, a guardian of this world, tasked with protecting its secrets and ensuring that only those who are worthy may learn of its existence. Kale explains that this planet, known as Elysium, was once home to a highly advanced civilization. They were masters of technology and science, capable of manipulating the very fabric of reality. However, their hubris led to their downfall. They sought to harness the power of the stars themselves, believing they could control the cosmos. But their experiments went awry, and the consequences were catastrophic. Elena and her team listen intently, their hearts pounding with both fear and awe. Kale shows them ancient ruins hidden beneath the surface, remnants of the civilization's grand achievements. There are massive machines long dormant that once powered the planet's ecosystem. There are also signs of conflict, evidence of a war fought against forces beyond human comprehension. As they explore further, the crew uncovers a device, a relic of immense power. It hums softly, its surface etched with symbols that seem to pulse with energy. Kale warns them that this artifact should never be activated, as doing so could unleash forces that would destroy everything in their path. Despite Kale's warnings, curiosity gets the better of some members of the crew. Dr. Chen, in particular, is fascinated by the device and believes that it holds the key to solving Earth's resource crisis. She argues that if they can understand how it works, they might be able to replicate its technology and save humanity. The debate rages on, with tensions rising between those who want to explore and those who believe in caution. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Jameson notices something odd about the planet's atmosphere. It seems to be changing, becoming denser and more oppressive. He alerts the rest of the crew, and they quickly realize that the device is causing the disturbances. It's drawing energy from the planet, destabilizing its delicate balance. Kale reappears, his expression grave. He tells the crew that the device is part of a fail-safe mechanism, designed to prevent anyone from tampering with the planet's core. If it continues to draw energy, it will trigger a chain reaction that could rip the planet apart. The crew must decide whether to deactivate the device and risk facing whatever dangers it guards, or leave it alone and abandon their chance at discovery. Elena gathers her team in the command center, her mind racing with options. She knows that deactivating the device could be dangerous, but leaving it active is even more perilous. They have limited time to make a decision. As the planet's atmosphere continues to deteriorate, the crew debates their options, each member voicing their concerns and hopes. Dr. Chun presents her findings, explaining that the device uses a form of energy that could revolutionize technology on Earth. She argues that they need to take the risk and study the device further. Lieutenant Jameson, on the other hand, emphasizes the importance of safety, reminding everyone of the potential consequences of their actions. Elena listens carefully, weighing the pros and cons. She knows that their mission is not just about discovery. It's about survival. She decides to send a small team, including Dr. Chen and a few others, to investigate the device more closely while the rest of the crew prepares for evacuation. If things go wrong, they'll need to be ready to leave the planet at a moment's notice. As the team heads out, Kale watches from the shadows, his presence both comforting and unsettling. He knows that what they are about to do could change the course of history, for better or worse. The fate of the planet, and possibly the entire galaxy, rests in their hands. The small team ventures deeper into the ruins, guided by the faint hum of the device. They encounter more relics of the ancient civilization, each one more impressive than the last. There are towering statues, intricate maps, and devices that seem to defy the laws of physics. The air grows colder as they descend, and the walls around them begin to vibrate with an otherworldly energy. Dr. Chun leads the way, her mind focused on the task at hand. She examines the device, running diagnostics and analyzing its structure. The symbols on its surface seem to shift and change, responding to her touch. She realizes that the device is not just a machine. It's a living entity, connected to the planet's core. Suddenly, the ground shakes violently, and the team is thrown to the floor. The device emits a blinding flash of light, and for a moment, everything goes silent. When the light fades, they find themselves in a different part of the ruins, surrounded by even more advanced technology. The device has transported them, showing them glimpses of the civilization's past. The team regroups, their hearts racing with adrenaline and wonder. Dr. Chun explains that the device is using a form of quantum teleportation, allowing them to travel through time and space within the confines of the planet. She hypothesizes that the civilization used this technology to explore the universe, but it was ultimately their undoing. Their experiments with time travel led to paradoxes and instability, which caused the collapse of their society. As they continue their exploration, they discover recordings left behind by the ancient civilization. The messages speak of a warning, a plea for help from beyond the stars. The civilization knew that their destruction was inevitable, and they sent out a distress signal, hoping that someone would find it and learn from their mistakes. Dr. Chun translates the recordings, her voice trembling with emotion. The civilization realized that their pursuit of knowledge came at a great cost. They understood that there are some things that should remain undiscovered, lest they bring about their own downfall. The team is left to ponder the weight of their own actions, knowing that they stand on the brink of a similar fate. Back on the Odyssey, the rest of the crew prepares for evacuation. They load supplies and equipment onto the ship, ready to leave the planet at a moment's notice. Lieutenant Jameson oversees the security protocols, ensuring that every possible contingency is covered. He knows that the situation is precarious, and they need to be prepared for anything. Elena monitors the progress of the team on the planet, her heart heavy with concern. She knows that they are pushing the boundaries of what is safe, and she fears for their lives. She orders the ship to stay on standby, ready to launch at a moment's notice. The tension aboard the Odyssey is palpable, as everyone waits anxiously for news from the surface. Meanwhile, the team continues their exploration, delving deeper into the heart of the ruins. They encounter more advanced technology, each piece more awe-inspiring than the last. They find a massive chamber, its walls lined with holographic displays that show the civilization's history in vivid detail. The displays depict a society that once thrived, but also one that made devastating mistakes. Dr. Chun studies the displays, her mind racing with possibilities. She realizes that the civilization's downfall was not just due to their experiments with time travel. It was also because of their arrogance. They believed that they could control the universe, but in doing so, they lost sight of the delicate balance that sustains all life. The team reaches the core of the ruins, a vast chamber filled with ancient machinery. At the center of the chamber stands the device, its surface glowing with a soft, pulsating light. The air hums with energy, and the team can feel the weight of the planet's core beneath their feet. They know that this is the moment of truth, the point of no return. Dr. Chan approaches the device, her hands trembling with anticipation. She activates the diagnostic tools, running a final set of tests. The device responds, its surface flickering with light as it processes the data. Suddenly, a message appears on the display, written in a language that the team doesn't recognize. It speaks of a choice, a decision that will determine the fate of the planet and perhaps the entire universe. Kale materializes beside Dr. Chun, his presence both comforting and ominous. He tells her that the message is a warning, a final plea from the ancient civilization. They cannot activate the device, for doing so will unleash forces that will destroy everything in their path. The team must decide whether to honor the warning and leave the device alone or take the risk and unlock its secrets. The team debates their options, their voices filled with urgency and uncertainty. Dr. Chun argues that they need to understand the device's true purpose, believing that it holds the key to saving humanity. Lieutenant Jameson, however, remains steadfast in his belief that they should leave the device alone. He reminds them of the consequences of their actions, warning that they could be unleashing forces beyond their control. Elena listens to both sides, her mind weighed down with the gravity of their decision. She knows that they are standing on the edge of something monumental, something that could change the course of history. She decides to send a transmission back to the Odyssey, requesting additional support and guidance. They need to consult with experts on Earth, people who can provide a fresh perspective and help them make the right choice. As the transmission is sent, the team waits nervously for a response. The atmosphere in the chamber grows heavier, the air thick with tension. They can feel the weight of the planet's core beneath their feet, a constant reminder of the power they are dealing with. Kale watches from the shadows, his presence both comforting and unsettling, urging them to choose wisely. Back on the Odyssey, the crew receives the transmission from the team on the planet. They gather in the command center, their faces etched with concern and determination. Elena briefs them on the situation, explaining the gravity of their decision. They need to consult with experts on Earth, people who can provide a fresh perspective and help them make the right choice. Lieutenant Jameson contacts the mission control on Earth, requesting immediate assistance. He explains the situation and asks for guidance on how to proceed. The response comes quickly, a team of experts eager to help. They provide detailed analysis and recommendations, emphasizing the importance of caution and the potential risks involved. Elena listens carefully, weighing the advice against the information they've gathered on the planet. She knows that they are standing on the edge of something monumental, something that could change the course of history. She decides to send a transmission back to the team on the planet, urging them to honor the warning and leave the device alone. The fate of the planet, and possibly the entire universe, rests in their hands. The team on the planet receives the transmission from the Odyssey, their faces etched with relief and gratitude. They listen carefully to the advice and recommendations, weighing the information against their own findings. Dr. Chun acknowledges the wisdom of the experts, realizing that they are standing on the edge of something monumental, something that could change the course of history. They decide to honor the warning and leave the device alone, choosing to respect the ancient civilization's plea for help. They deactivate the diagnostic tools and prepare to leave the chamber, their hearts heavy with the knowledge of what they've learned. Kale watches from the shadows, his presence both comforting and unsettling, urging them to choose wisely. As they exit the chamber, the team reflects on their journey, the discoveries they've made, and the choices they've had to make. They know that they have been given a glimpse into the future, a vision of what could be if they continue down the path of unchecked ambition. They vow to carry the lessons of the ancient civilization with them, to use their knowledge responsibly and with humility. The team returns to the surface, their minds filled with the weight of their discoveries. They gather their equipment and prepare to board the Odyssey, their hearts heavy with the knowledge of what they've learned. Kale watches from the shadows, his presence both comforting and unsettling, urging them to choose wisely. As they board the ship, the crew reflects on their journey, the discoveries they've made, and the choices they've had to make. They know that they have been given a glimpse into the future, a vision of what could be if they continue down the path of unchecked ambition. They vow to carry the lessons of the ancient civilization with them, to use their knowledge responsibly and with humility. The Odyssey prepares for departure, its engines roaring to life as it lifts off from the surface of the planet. The crew watches in awe as the planet recedes into the distance, its surface shimmering with the glow of ancient energy. They reflect on their journey, the discoveries they've made, and the choices they've had to make. They know that they have been given a glimpse into the future, a vision of what could be if they continue down the path of unchecked ambition. They vow to carry the lessons of the ancient civilization with them, to use their knowledge responsibly and with humility. As the Odyssey travels through space, the crew reflects on their journey, the discoveries they've made, and the choices they've had to make. They know that they have been given a glimpse into the future, a vision of what could be if they continue down the path of unchecked ambition. They vow to carry the lessons of the ancient civilization with them, to use their knowledge responsibly and with humility.